Welcome boys and girls, Costin here with a discussion about Emperor Karl Franz in Total War Warhammer 3, Immortal Empires. And for a lot of people that have played the game for a very long time, this campaign, well, can still be a difficult one to figure out. But for people that are starting new, or people who haven't played for a while and are coming back, or for all the people that didn't even purchase Warhammer 3 but are now playing it because Creative Assembly made it far more widely available, I think it is good to go over this campaign again. So right here is turn 2, and I have taken Grunberg, I took minimal casualties, I replenished on the end turn. Now, at this point, once you take Grunberg, you have a choice. I've also started leveling up Altdorf to tier 2, and I've started getting grazing pastures. I didn't loot or sack the settlement, and I took minimal casualties. There's a way and a strategy in battles on how to do that as Karl. Now, I've talked before about the cheesy path, the one that where you can min-max your way to victory, and it goes along the lines of using noble trade, getting faster construction. But what if you don't want to do it? What if you want a better way? What if you don't own the DLCs? So here's what I would recommend if you're uncertain of where you want to be. Move Karl, yes, just Karl, towards Solland's capital. Now, at this point, Elspeth is going to make a choice. This is, by the way, on Legendary very hard. And bear in mind, there is an element of randomization whenever you start the campaign. She is going to take one of these two settlements. It doesn't matter which one it is, but she's going to attack the capital last. So you want to let her take these two settlements and then move on other things. Meanwhile, over here in your settlement, you want to recruit a lord. I would firmly recommend that you pick up Thrones of Decay, but if you don't have Thrones of Decay, just recruit the General of the Empire. Doesn't matter. This guide is based on the idea that you don't have any DLCs, even if I am using DLC content. I am going to use Open the Gates to get myself an extra population surplus and start getting that to tier 2. And I'm going to leave those grazing pastures for one more turn, I think. And then we are going to end this specific turn. So we opened the gates, we got that population surplus, but what about the rebels? Well, they don't matter as much. Altdorf's garrison and Helmgart's garrison are so significant. The only settlement they can attack and they can threaten is Grunberg itself. But why do we go for Solland? Well, we go for Solland because Solland is where it's at, really. And so we are just going to declare war on the vampire counts here and take their city. Again, legendary very hard. It's going to say close defeat. But you have a way of winning this battle. Let me show you exactly how. Alright, so over here with regards to the siege, here's what we need to remember. That these towers can and will hurt units, that there are blind spots that we can take advantage of. And we want to take advantage of these blind spots because if we meet this army on the field of battle, there's a pretty high chance that they will be able to smack us down. So what we want to do right here is attack in a vulnerable point, position our mortars in such a way that they can cause as much damage as we possibly can. The goal isn't to win the battle. The goal, if you will, is to ensure that as much damage is done as can be done. And to that effect, we're going to move the mortars right here. We're going to move the great swords and the units, and we're going to use Karl to deal with that situation. Right over yonder. We're moving the great swords into position. We're going to ensure that all these guys have guard mode enabled, and we're going to try and reduce the friendly fire that we can take. And also, we're going to ensure that there's no discussion or debate really with the vampire counts right here. Okay, so we take down the gate. Okay, now those dire wolves are a problem. The actual problems, the units that are the most dangerous are the Legendary Lord and, of course, Black Knights and Direwolves. So we want to ensure that they're not really too much of an issue. We also want to ensure that our units right here don't take a lot of damage. Because if they do, things are going to be really nasty. Okay, let's make sure things don't end up occurring the way I fear they could occur. And there we go. And we, in guard mode, start shooting right there. The goal, again, is not to necessarily win this battle right here. You can, but it will cost you a lot. There's a lot of micro involved in this particular scenario. We want to ensure victory in the next battle, not necessarily ensure victory here. If you want to win this specific battle, there is a way around that, but it is not necessarily a pleasant situation. You will take a lot of casualties trying to do so. And bear in mind, that's not necessarily something that everyone is up to the task of doing. And so the purpose here is to try and minimize the casualties that we get and maximize the casualties that the enemy takes. Make sure you use that ability. Make sure you're using your spells right here. It is both fortunate and unfortunate that I got a Beast Wizard. It's fortunate for this particular strategy, but it's unfortunate. I could have also recruited some archers right there, but that's on me. I just had to account for every eventuality. I'm sure a lot of people that are playing this do have the Huntsman and the Beast and the Hunter DLC for Warhammer 2. Because, you know what, it is worth it. It is worth getting, but you just rinse and repeat with regards to this. And you pay attention to the enemy lord. I've set the timer too long because we have a long battle ahead of us. Okay, make sure you pull back when it's needed to pull back. Here's, he's gonna be coming, I reckon. The goal is to kill the bastard. But the way you do so is you get Karl behind him. And there's the bastard gone. There we go. That's the hard part. Really. The actual hard part. And now we got more stuff that we need to sort out. We want to kill as many skeletal warriors as we possibly can. And also draw in as many of them as we can right here. But it's rinse repeat. Try it several times. Quick save, quick load, all that. Solland secured, we can now put an electrocount right there, and that's the reason for the second lord, because we now have an electrocount into position that can recruit the Eldred's Guard. And it is the Eldred's Guard that is the vital point right here, and we can also use Call to Arms. I did manage to win the battle on the first go, so we're going to recruit a bunch of archers. If you don't own the Beast and Hunter after so many years, I'm not sure exactly what to tell you at this point in the game, though. That's on people. You can't expect YouTubers to make guides for you not owning DLCs, like, especially since a lot of things are fairly cheap. I know people want us to be all things for all people, but we can't be, and ultimately, that's the point. Like, I think it's reasonable enough to give people an idea of what to do without any kind of DLC, but you also need the entire toolkit in order to make this work. Now, what do you want to do after this stage? That the relevant military part of the army construction and all that, that's over. What is relevant right now is you need to get more experience. You're going to lose some units. Who cares, essentially? The relevant bit has been sorted out right there. you get more units. You get more stuff. You use that stuff to demolish anyone that stands in your path. You deal with the greenskins. And then you go back and you deal with some other stuff as well. We get to tier 2. We start getting all these wonderful little things right here. Warrior priests, all that kind of good stuff. We could delay the barracks right there by one particular turn. And then we just go on a rampage right there. Like, we defeat the greenskins. Easy enough fight. Easy enough situation. You get all of Solland. And then what do? You can declare war on Averheim. Then you can take Averheim and give it to Elspeth. I'll show you in a second what I mean by that a couple of turns later. But this is the path that leads you towards Vlad, leads you towards engineering a war between Vlad and Elspeth. Because that's what you want to do, by the way. You want to remove the problem that is Averheim, ensure it's no longer going to be a problem. You want to then go deal with the various issues you have at home. Altdorf is strong, but it's not impregnable. The garrison there can withstand a significant level of damage, and it's going to take multiple armies to deal with it. So eventually, you want to go back home through Averland. So you want to ensure you take Averheim, give that to Elspeth. Once Elspeth has it, like, you can deal with things. No problem. And then we have the quest battle, etc. That's a good source of money. Once you got that quest battle, this kind of army would win that quest battle pretty easily. In fact, you don't even need this kind of army to win that quest battle. And then you head over, deal with Averheim. Let me just show how it would be in a couple of... Alright, so as I stated, the ultimate goal is to get Elspeth in a war with Vlad. There's two ways of doing it. You can either declare war on Vlad directly and get Elspeth to join in by selling her Averheim with a barracks in it. Or, alternatively, you can make a military alliance with Elspeth and then get her to join in the fray. Both of those work. She is going to value Averheim a significant amount. In fact, you can even get her involved in even more wars than this. And that's, by the way, to your benefit, because Elspeth is not really your friend. She actually will screw you over in a lot of ways by being so very passive on the campaign. And that's, I guess, the annoying factor about playing as Karl Franz. Is like, you have a very powerful ally next to you who will do absolutely nothing unless she's given reason to. Yes, that is absolutely an annoying factor and one we must deal with. So right now, I'm just going to move Karl Franz right there. We got some electric count, some rebels right there, war wagons, and combination of things. We'll deal with them very, very easily. Legendary, very hard. And we just move in forward right there. We got the items. We got Clergy of Sigmar. We can get rid of the... We can start getting grain silos. And thus we are in a prime position to actually make things happen. So yes, Elspeth will deal with Vlad as she's meant to. Because all of this, going for Solland, dealing with all of this, the reason you want to go for Solland, the reason you want to go for Averheim is to do two things. One, it's to get your Eldred's Guards, which are frontline holders that you want. Secondly, it's to get Elspeth off her ass in terms of the AI to actually make her useful in some way, shape, or form. And that's the reason we rush for Solland, because if she takes this settlement, she will spend a lot of time just picking flowers, I suppose, doing nothing. It can be annoying from an AI standpoint. And now you can do whatever you want. You can go for Marienburg, you can go for Bretonnia, you can go for Festus. The choice is yours. I would recommend firmly against going for Vlad. One, because Elspeth will win that battle. Two, she'll confederate you once you get Emperor of the Empire. So you can gain all that territory and let her spend her copious amount of money and funds and armies on doing something she is meant to do. This is, by the way, the reason Elspeth's campaign is substantially easier to deal with than Karl's campaign, because Elspeth has a clear path in what she wants to be in her campaign. And yes, I know, it is a ridiculous, nonsensical take on the entire situation, but that's always been the case. It's not that Karl's campaign is broken. It is not even broken. It is more so the issue that Elspeth is not working the way she should right now, and because she should be picking that fight with Vlad. She should not be in a situation where it's like, oh, Averheim, I can't cross that territory. Well, go to war with Averheim. There's no penalty for her doing so. But that's a weird aspect about Elspeth, because it just means the Changeling and Vlad run rampant around Averheim and Solland while she does nothing. So this video can just be summed up as Karl Franz getting shit done, Elspeth sitting on her ass, and Karl making sure Elspeth gets shit done as well. Costin signing out.